Welcome everybody to another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. I hope everybody's doing well. Got a bit of news here. Been kind of a quiet day today. Thank God. So much has been going on. It seemed like every hour and every minute something would be happening. But today's been a relatively quiet day on the news front. Compared to other days, that is. Still a lot going on. Yonhap News Agency came out with an article that I found to be very interesting. Now, it's no secret that our Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump, uh, said that he will not accept a nuclearized North Korea. Now, it's also known that Kim Jong-un said that he will not give up his nukes. The nukes are not up for the discussion, so you have a standoff there. Uh, Now, what means is North Korea going to do? How far is North Korea willing to go to keep their nukes? And how far is President Donald Trump going to go to denuclearize North Korea? That is the $1 million question. Now, our president and commander in chief just came back from an Asian tour. From what I've been studying, it was a very successful one. Now, the leader of China just so happened to be went to North Korea right after the meeting with President Trump. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that meeting with Kim Jong-un to see what China says. I think China, personally, my own personal opinion, I think China is loyal to North Korea, but China realizes now where they get their wealth from. China has become a relatively rich country and a successful country with all the free trade that's opened up many years ago. And I think they like that taste of wealth and wanting to keep it or increase it. So I think the Chinese are well aware that with that money, buys cars and houses and stuff like that, and they got a bite of wealth, and they like it. And so we hope that the two leaders get together, that of North Korea and China, and China puts even more pressure on Kim Jong Un to denuclearize or change his mind on having nuclear weapons. Will Kim Jong Un give up his nuclear weapons? My personal opinion, no, he's not. Even with China putting pressure on him, I think he will still keep his nukes, simply because he thinks that his nukes are keeping him safe, which they very may well, or they very well may not. It depends on what side you look at it. On my side, or our side, I should say, talking about the West, I'm a U.S. citizen. I love my country with all my heart. I would go for a denuclearization of North Korea. That regime is too unstable to have nukes. It has to be. We have to get the nuclear weapons away from Kim Jong Un. If he's threatened to blow us up with the nuclear weapons he has, imagine when he gets a stockpile of ICBMs with multiple warheads. Now, given enough time, he's going to produce that. That can hit anywhere in the United States. If you think he's threatened now, wait until then. Then you have instead of you having a demon, you have a Satan himself. Well, let's go on to Yonhap, the report. Washington, November 15th, Yonhap. U.S. President Donald Trump declared Wednesday that he will not accept a North Korea with nuclear weapons and will continue to put, quote, maximum pressure on the regime. Trump returned from a 12-day Asia trip Tuesday and made the remark in a televised statement that detailed the purported successes of his tour. Quote, I called on every nation, including China and Russia, to unite in isolating the North Korean regime, cutting off all ties of trade and commerce until it stops its dangerous provocation. He said of his speech before South Korea's National Assembly last week, quote, "We have to denuclearize North Korea." Trump also said he used his speech to speak the, quote, "truth about the North Korean regime's evil crimes." Quote, I made clear that we will not allow this twisted dictatorship to hold the world hostage to nuclear blackmail, he said, speaking from the White House. That's basically what Kim is doing. He's blackmailing the United States with nuclear weapons. He's threatening our lives, ladies and gentlemen. He's threatening our lives on so many times that you can't count. He said that he would turn us into fire and hell, and he would totally desolate the United States of America, and the list goes on what he said he would do to us. And I say us because I'm a U.S. citizen, and if it happens to my country, it happens to me. And it happens to you that's listening if you're a U.S. citizen. And it happens all over because throughout the West, the whole West should join together and make Kim, if he doesn't willfully give up his nuclear weapons. It is true. North Korea cannot have nuclear weapons. My spirit tells me that from much prayer and much study in the scriptures. My spirit and prayer to the Lord God Almighty that Kim is very dangerous with nuclear weapons. If he doesn't use them personally, he will sell them for whatever he wants to someone that will use them. So think about it now. In your next prayers, pray about it. Our nation's in deep need of prayer to help us overcome this menace called North Korea. And to be successful denuclearizing them, even if it takes a military action. I said this before, sometimes war is ordained by God. If you don't believe me, read the Old Testaments. There are some wars that are ordained by God, that God ordains to be fought. And I think this may very well be one, ladies and gentlemen. I hope it's done peacefully, but if it's not peacefully, then we would have to, of course, support our commander-in-chief if he decides to use military. With that being said, we'll go ahead and close. Thanks for subbing, you new subs. Hey, join our channel. We'll try to do a good job for you. With that said, you're listening and watching another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. God bless you and God protect you all.